everyone. Welcome to the Mirko Movie Guys. I'm Clint Schaffer, and this is my buddy Chad Weeks.
And we're a couple guys who like movies, like to talk about movies. Clint, what kind of movies are we going to talk about today?
We are going to put our ski mask on, Chad, and we're going to rob some banks and talk about our favorite heist movies.
Okay, so let's put some rules on that though. Like, what kind of heist movies are we talking here? Is it just any type of heist movie? Are there any parameters for this?
You know, I think if a key aspect in the movie is that they're trying to put a plan around to steal anything, I think that's a heist movie.
Okay, all right, anything.
Yeah,
kind of broadens the horizons here. I don't know if I was completely ready for that, but yeah,
I think it's one of those that there's a lot of movies out there that
Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, or the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Is that a heist movie?
You know, it's more of an adventure,
but it is a heist movie, isn't it?
It is yeah. I mean, I could get behind it. So I think
it's not going to be on my list, but I'm just saying it's there.
Yeah. No, I think that's a fair call. I think if we go through our list and we find movies that are maybe on the fringe, we can have that conversation then.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, fair enough.
So first off, let's talk about what this is not. This is not us ranking the greatest heist movies of all time.
Yeah,
this is our personal favorite heist movies, and it's going to be our top 5.
Correct. And it kind of goes back to us being, we're not movie critics. We're just a couple guys who like movies and like talking about movies. So let's talk about our favorite heist movies.
Yeah, because one of the best heist movies of all time is probably not on my list. So I'm just going to call that out ahead of time that it's not there.
I think I know which one you're talking about. It's the one that we go to all the time, and it's not on my list either. And I feel like that's
I know, but we can talk about that. Let's go through. We'll start at our 5. We'll work to our 1, and then we'll hit some honorable mentions that we're on our bigger list, but we didn't want to go through all of them. So
that's fair. I dig it.
All right. You want to kick this off? Take us to and actually, hold on. Before we start, I have to make a prediction.
Okay.
Knowing you and knowing your love for music is where I'm going to go with on this. I'm going to guess that Baby Driver is on your list.
Yeah. It totally is. And is that because you said this beforehand that it was going to be on here, and it's like I really wouldn't have predicted you to know that was going to be on my list, because I thought it was kind of a deep dive, man. And it's incredible. It's one of the best movies of all time. Like, I love that movie.
Great movie, and like I said, it's got an amazing soundtrack to it. So, but
it sure does.
I digress. We won't jump ahead on our list here. So, what is
it's not number 5? I'm gonna tell you that.
Okay, all right. What is your number 5 most favorite heist movie?
Okay, my number 5 is going to be The Score. Do you remember the movie The Score?
Yes, yeah, it's on my top 5.
Is it really?
It is, yeah.
Like, so here's the thing. Like, the movie The Score, you've got Robert De Niro, Ed Norton, and Marlon Brando in this. I remember this being one of Marlon Brando's last roles, and kind of the way I was introduced to him, because I think it came out in 2001. So we were seniors in high school when this came out, and I think maybe that's the reason, because it had a big twist in it. It was just like you said something about the Phantom Menace the other day. And you said, I was complaining about it again because of the Jar Jar Binks and the Anakin Skywalker being annoying. And then your response was, yeah, but it was ours.
Yeah.
And that really resonated with me, because like, I kept thinking about, like, you're right. This is, all those other movies, they weren't ours. This one was ours. The Phantom Menace. I mean, and I think this is our heist movie. I don't know when Heat came out, but it was for a little bit older of a generation. And The Score was in our lifetime. That was our heist movie, and it delivered, man.
You know me and my love for Edward Norton. I think Edward Norton is one of the greatest actors of our generation, and in this movie, he plays a phenomenal role. And I loved just the storyline. You had just a ton of action, and a lot of like the ways that that they ultimately pulled it off. I thought the safe break-in scene when he fills it clear full of water and he detonates it,
Yeah.
man, I don't know. There's something really cool about that whole aspect.
Yeah, I totally agree. That was the first movie that made us think, let's do a heist. Let's do a
Yeah.
heist.
Well, what's funny is I think man, was it? It may have been on MythBusters that they actually did this, like filled up a safe and tried to blow it
Really?
up. And of course, like I think what they came, if I remember right, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong here, but I want to say that it was one of those like everything in the safe was destroyed.
Oh,
You know,
yeah,
like
for sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but you know, you talked about the twist, right? And I thought the reason why the score makes my list as well is it's one of those where not only do you have a twist between the, you know, Robert De Niro and Ed Norton, but you also have a twist with Ed Norton's character, and you never know where they're, what is it, the scepter or whatever that they're trying to, you know, the
Yeah.
queen's wand or whatever that they're trying to steal. You never have a clue where it's at.
Yes, exactly. I think that I totally agree. And you remember it better than I do. This is a long time ago since I've watched it, but when it came out, we watched it, a ton. We watched it a lot, and it was always yeah. That was probably our first. That's probably also the first movie that got us the big, oh wow, big twist at the end type of thing too. I mean, I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know where the Sixth Sense and all that comes in, but that was a big payoff at the end of that movie.
Question: Could Ed Norton get away with playing that character
Today, I don't know. I thought about
Yeah,
that. I
yeah.
thought
I
about
mean,
that,
I'm
and I
not.
don't.
It's not
I think,
necessarily the most PC character that you can write into a movie.
yeah,
You
it's
know,
a good question. It's a fair question. I don't know the answer to it though. Like, uh, he didn't go Johnny Knoxville on this one, so I don't think it's going to be that way. But I think that I don't know. I don't know. It's a good question.
oh,
Fair
all
question.
right, all right. Well,
So
I have the score sitting at number 4.
okay. So what's your number 5 then?
So my number 5 is going to be Denzel Washington, another one of my favorite actors, Clive Owens, and
Oh, Inside Man.
Inside Man. Yes,
Yeah, I
and
stole your thunder on that one, but
yeah. Why am I forgetting her name? From Silence of the Lambs.
oh, now you got me thinking.
I keep wanting to say Helen Hunt.
I keep wanting to say Winona Ryder. uh,
Jodie
but
Foster. There you go. Finally
yeah,
hitting it.
Jodie Foster. There you go. Yeah, yeah,
Jodie
yeah.
Foster.
Yeah,
But
Jodie Foster. Yep.
the Inside Man, that is just that's one of those movies that you talk about a twist. Clive Owens has you thinking the entire time. You have a couple side plots that are happening that you just again never quite know what everybody's trying to achieve in the end.
Yeah.
And it was also one of those that I loved. If I remember the trailer right, he dresses everybody, all the hostages, the same as their attire as well. So it's always hard to determine like who's who and everything else. It's just one of those cool little twists of trying to figure out, who are the actual bad guys and where they at and how you can get
Yeah,
them.
and
And just a lot of mind games.
yeah, absolutely. I remember being pretty floored by that movie when it came out. I remember thinking that because I don't know if I remember the trailer or anything uh, for that movie. I think I remember being pretty like awestruck when I actually watched it because it was unassuming. I just wasn't ready for it. And then next thing you know, it's like, wow, that was a great movie. Uh, I considered putting it on my list. The problem is I don't remember it well enough to do that because I haven't watched it in long enough, and it's like if I loved it that much, why didn't I go back and watch it? And that was my reasoning for not putting it on my list. But
Yeah.
I totally agree that at the time I absolutely loved. What was that, like 2005 probably?
Yeah, that'd probably be accurate.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Great movie, and that was another one. I think that was kind of a introduction to Clive Owen too. That was kind of his coming out party. I don't know if that's true or not. We probably know him from before that, but that was a big role for him. He was
no,
so
that'd
so
have to be
big
one
in
of
that
his.
era.
Yep. Well,
Sin
and
City and
if I remember
Closer.
right, and it's been a minute since I've seen this movie as well, but if man, wasn't that where he kept telling him that he was just going to walk out the front door scot free, and then in the end he ends up staying in the bank for
Yeah, he stayed in the bank. I remember that
extended
being part of
periods
it.
of time, right? Like it was like a
Yeah.
long time, and then he ends up like just walking out, right? Or
Yes.
walks out
I
with
don't
the
remember.
hostages or something. I can't remember exactly how that ends up going,
Yeah,
but
I don't
I
remember the
know it
plot
was
exactly. Yeah, but
but
I do
really
know do
cool.
remember the staying in there type of thing. That's what that was.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so I got Inside Man at number 5.
Okay,
So yeah,
and
what's your
you've
number
got number
4?
at number 4. You've got
I got the score.
the score. So there's really no need to go on that one any longer. I went with The Usual Suspects at number 4.
Yeah, it's
So
on my honorable mentions list.
okay, all right. Uh, I think I watched the honorable the honorable mentions. I watched the Usual Suspects long after it was popular. Like I don't think I watched it it came out in 1995. I didn't watch it then. I watched it long after that, and probably like 2015 that late.
Yep.
And I remember the whole time, I knew there was a twist, but I still had no clue what it was. And I also think that the big reason that I like that movie so much is I love Benicio del Toro's character. I
Yeah.
love the way he talks. And I'm sure you've heard that whole scene, the lineup scene for them was all like ad libbed because somebody was
Yep.
farting and I don't know. But but I love that scene. I love Benicio del Toro in there. I love that movie. I love everything about it. That was a fantastic one. Another great twist.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean that was also, I mean, uh he doesn't have much of a career anymore, but Kevin Spacey, I mean, he was he was rock solid in that role, and I would have to think that was when he started to become mainstream as well. At that point in time, American Beauty coming out after that, and some of those. But man, I mean he killed that role.
Yeah, he did, and you don't. It's tough to think about the art that we kind of lost because of his downward spiral. You know what I mean? Like you think about these movies and American Beauty, and it's like you almost feel apologetic for mentioning him on here. But yeah, ultimately he was an incredible actor throughout those years, and anything that he was
Yeah.
in, it's like, yeah, let's sign up for that one because it's going to be good. And he turned in a great role on this one. Also, I think Stephen Baldwin. Uh,
Oh,
I really like
yeah.
Stephen Baldwin's just kind of out of pocket character there. That I love. The characters are what made this movie. They all had their own little shtick, their own little style, and they all just worked really well together on different levels. And
A
again,
lot of very
it's
unique characters, right? I mean,
correct
and for to have a movie that has that many key characters in it, and
yeah,
to hold the story the way that movie does is also, I mean, that's impressive in itself, because I mean
for sure.
it's there's a that's a big cast.
Yeah,
So
it gives you like a Dick Tracy vibe to it. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
you
I can
got
see that.
Mumbles and you got they all have to have like their own style of character. So yeah, I fantastic movie. Absolutely. If nobody's watched The Usual Suspects, it's an easy one to love.
It makes you wonder, you mentioned in like the Dick Tracy part of that, and it's like, what was the inspiration behind that, because
Yeah.
at 95, man, somebody was probably looking back at the 50s and 60s, some of those movies, and pulling some of that
Yeah.
artistic, thought forward, right?
Absolutely. It's a caper, man. It's a caper.
All right. Well, like I said, I have that on my honorable mentions.
Okay.
Great, and I was kind of torn on that one. That's actually it's pretty high on my honorable mentions list here. But
Yeah.
going to, we're gonna, so like I said, mine's number 4 is the score. We talked about that, so I will jump in and go to my number 3 most favorite heist movie, and this one is also a star-studded cast,
Okay.
and this is going to be Ocean's 11.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Ocean's 11 is like the star-studded cast, and that is also on my list. But yeah, Ocean's 11. Uh, Again, 2001. Didn't realize it was 2001 until I just looked at it here. But that movie that was special, wasn't it? Like everything
Oh,
about it. Uh, I think we watched a pirated version of it that Cuzzo made for us, and I mean, we watched that all the time. Like, so I kind of figured that one would be on your list as well.
Well, again though, like with just the cast, what I mean, just trying to, man, even trying to go through and name these, but you got George Clooney, Brad Pitt, Matt Damon, Julia Roberts, uh,
Andy Garcia,
Andy Garcia, yeah.
uh, oh, uh, oh, I can't think of Basher's name right now, but yeah,
And who doesn't want to knock off a casino? Right?
exactly.
Like that there's just like millions and billions of dollars flowing through these joints. And
Well,
it's
you
like,
want to,
man,
yeah,
and
you want to,
like the security is insane. So it's like to put together a plan that would actually allow you to succeed. Man, that's just
yeah,
a
absolutely,
cool
and
storyline right there.
for sure, and you really want to knock off a Terry Benedict casino if you can. You know, you have to be
Exactly.
careful though, because he's going to kill you, and then he's going to go to work on you.
Yeah, yeah. It's
That was, so you look at like, you look at the characters in that movie, and again, you've got very strong characters. It's another big twist. You don't know which way it's going. But you look at you look at the grease man that they have in there. It's like he barely said a word and played one of the most uh, paramount roles there. Casey Affleck, and I can't remember the guy that he plays his brother there, but like every scene that every one of them's in, every interaction is so, it's Tarantino like, because
yep.
like you you think of George Clooney talking to Brad Pitt, and he's like, well, we got 10. You think that's enough? And then Brad Pitt's just eating an apple or something like that, not saying a word. He's like, you think maybe we need another one? All right, let's get another one. Like, like it's just like, and but also, that's the way that these guys all work. And I know this is a remake, and I'm sure there's people out there, they're going to say that the Rat Pack version was superior in some way.
Sure.
But again, this one was ours, and man, was it was special. I loved all the sequels too. I was all down for the sequels.
Well, here's the thing. They do actually have really good sequels. So and that doesn't happen, a whole lot of times when you start putting sequels together. But one of the things that I look at on some of these that in Ocean's 11 is probably the best example of this. And again, I think this goes back to that time frame. I think you said 2001 that it came out in. This is when like a lot of that high technology stuff is starting to come out, right? Like you start seeing them mirror the bank floor and the vault, right? All that kind of stuff that they're mirroring. Wasn't there an EMP bomb that went off in the van that they ended up doing to knock out all the security? And it's just a lot of that high tech stuff that at the time, like looking back on it now, like there's like way more technology, but it's like back then, man, that was like James Bond-esque right there,
Yeah, absolutely. It really was. And then you look at the sequels, do take it even a step further, where you got your typical, I could still hear the music, where I think it was a French dude that was trying to, was it Ocean's 12, with the French dude that's doing like all the crazy like flips and stuff like that around the laser field to go in and steal like a diamond or something like that I don't remember exactly how it all worked, but yeah.
One of my favorite characters on there too was the little Asian guy that could the contortionist.
Yeah, the grease man. That's what I was talking about. The grease man. Yeah.
And I loved his whole character, as far as for like being able to fit in that box was just like you could hardly get your head wrapped around it, of like a human was able to contort themselves to fit in that box. That's
exactly.
That's incredible.
Exactly. Yeah, the amazing something, and the amazing Yen, I think his name was.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay, so am I up on 3 then?
Yep.
3, Hell or High Water.
Man, that is a movie that I plumb didn't have on any list, and that is a great movie.
I know. The thing is, like, this one kind of came in quietly. It was real quiet, like a real Quiet Release, and I don't really know why. Jeff Bridges, Chris Pine, Ben Foster, and I think and Gil Birmingham is who I have listed here. But this, you want to talk about just an awesome, gritty movie about a couple cops trying to catch a couple bad guys type of thing. Jeff Bridges turns in an awesome role, and I will always sing praises for Chris Pine and Ben Foster. Ben Foster is
Ben
again
Foster
my
played an
favorite.
amazing character in that movie as well. I mean,
Yeah,
because like he played the role that he is designed to play. I mean,
yes,
that
exactly.
just, he ain't gonna follow any rules.
Nope,
He doesn't care about
completely
killing
unhinged.
somebody.
Yeah. Another little thing that bumps this up a little bit on my list is that third generation Camaro that they do the first heist in.
Yeah.
I love when they steal something in that from that in that movie. So in that old Camaro, it's kind of sets it apart for me there too. But that movie is like a Western. It's a real live Western set in modern day times.
Well, to me, it gives me like No Country for Old Men vibes, right? Like
a
down
1,000,000%.
down in
Yes.
that era, and almost even like the pace of the movie is very similar
Yep.
to that movie. Like I don't know
Nobody's
that's
safe.
a
Just
great
like
yeah that's a good movie. Like I said, I can't believe that I forgot that off any list. I
honestly,
didn't even think about it.
honestly, now that I'm thinking about this, we should put No Country for Old Men on this list because he's still stealing something. He's still a heist, right?
Yeah, but he didn't have to really plan to steal that. A heist has to have a plan.
Okay.
Like you
Well, he
got to
did have
have
a plan
like,
though. He came down
well,
there and he's like, you remember he came down, brought some water for the guy. Where's the ultimo hombre? And he had a plan there. He hit it. I mean, and the chase, hiding from him. When oh,
man,
I can't think of what his name is right now, but with him chasing across the country, and like it's kind of a chase or kind of a heist movie. I don't know. I mean, you're right. It
okay,
doesn't have
I
the.
mean, you could sell me on it, but here's the thing. Let's let the listeners decide. So if you're watching this on YouTube, drop us a comment below, and let us know is No Country for Old Men, does that
Yeah.
land in the heist or not?
I would also put in No Country for Old Men that scene where he gets to the gas station. I will
Oh, the
put that
gas
up there
station
as
scenes.
one of, if not the greatest interaction in cinema history.
Yeah,
Just so simple. Just call it. Call it. It's been
just
traveling its whole life to get here to you. Just it's
yeah.
chilling because we know what's at stake. He doesn't. Oh, what a great scene! What a great scene. The fact that, yeah.
You
Anyway,
say that he doesn't know what's at stake. You watch that scene again and watch that old guy's face, and I think of that moment. I think he's knowing.
I think
He
he
knows that
realized.
his fate is on the line with that quarter
I
flip.
I think he's figuring it out as he's going through there. He's figuring it out because you could tell that, like, well, I can't call it if I don't know what's
Yeah,
at stake.
don't know
He's
what it
like,
is.
everything's at stake. It's
Everything.
like oh man,
That guy is just a
even when
chilling.
even when he
Uh,
choked on his drink when he was saying uh you married into it.
yeah.
It's like he's just I'm gonna go watch that scene after this. Just that scene.
How many times do you just watch a movie just to fire up like a scene or two though? Because I
Yeah,
do that quite a bit.
yeah, there is. I used to the movie Underworld. I used to like to just watch the opening scene where you see Celine jump off the building and stuff, and like I just thought that was one of the coolest opening scenes ever. When she's hunting those werewolves. Kind of a stupid movie, but I loved it. Watched that movie so
This
many
will sound
times.
silly, but my go-to recently has been I will open up the new Top Gun and watch when he runs the trial.
Oh, really?
I don't know what it is about Tom Cruise running that trial that I just love that scene. Like
You
I
mean
just
like
think
the
that is
opening?
just
You mean the opening trial where he's trying to hit Mach 10 or Mach 11 or something like that, or what? I don't know. Or you're talking
no.
about when he's running
The
through the canyon.
Yeah, when he's running through the canyon and he's trying to break, he knocks it down to 12 seconds, and everybody's
Yeah,
just sitting there saying like, well, it can't be done, and he just,
yeah.
destroys it. And it was just
Classic,
just
Classic
such a
Maverick.
classic Maverick. That was just, like I said, that's one of the more recent ones that I go back and I watch every now and then. So
As well, you should. That movie should be watched regularly.
all right, so far we have The Score, Inside Man, Ocean's 11, Hell or High Water, and The Usual Suspects.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. All right, we're shaping up to have a pretty good list here.
Yep. Mine is going to be. So is it me? Have you said your number
so
3
go
yet?
on to your number 2.
Number 2 is in fact Baby Driver.
Baby
Another
Driver.
one that's got Kevin Spacey in it that he absolutely killed it in. But yeah, you're right. The music in this movie, the pace of the movie, the actors. I don't know. It was just something special about it that the whole time. It's because I don't know how to describe it. It's like it's this kid with like this incredible power behind him, and he's so unassuming. He's just the kid that you kind of like. Everybody's taking him for granted, and he has this unbelievable power behind him, and I love it. I love everything about that movie.
Well,
I
not
love
very
this.
many heist movies like that. Do you get the perspective of the driver though, too? Right, like the getaway driver is always like one of the most important people in the entire heist, right? And it's like you get to see that from his perspective, right?
Yes.
And I just think that's a kind of a cool spin on that. And the music, adding into the music is just, I mean, that's just awesome.
Yep. And having to stop it. It's like he couldn't leave until the song started playing at this point in the song. Little things like that. It's like, this is, it just gets you. And you go on. There's other things about it to make this movie special. They say that when he takes out one of his earbuds, you'll only hear the music on one side of your surround sound. I don't know if you've heard that before or not, but like it cuts out the music on one side. So like when Shane pulls out his, I'm struggling on names today. Shane from The Walking Dead pulls out one of his earbuds. He's all of a sudden you can only hear from one side. Yeah, John Bernthal. Yeah.
Bernthal.
Yeah, and it's little things like that just make this so perfect. And also Kevin Spacey's role where he's kind of using this kid, and he's got him on the line, and he wants, he's got the plan to get out and everything. And even though Kevin Spacey's the bad guy in this one, he's still like, he's the good guy in the end, because he's like, a father figure to this kid. And oh man, I love this movie. I haven't said a whole lot about it because it's so special. So special. That's the best way I could put it.
No, I would. That is on my honorable mention list. That is. I think that's a great movie. It's fantastic to, like I said, it's a thrill ride, right?
Yeah. I wish I could remember some of the Easter eggs that they put in there, that like just hidden little gems in there that they do. Something about the paintings are different when he goes to the diner to see the girl that he's in love with, and there's a few things like that if you're listening to this, tell me what they are, because there's some big stuff in there that I'm missing. Just little Easter eggs that makes this movie even better than what it is.
If we really wanted to do a great job at this podcast, we should have actually sat down and like watched our top 5.
I know, yeah. I haven't seen any of these movies in so long.
And Chad, we're getting older. Those memories are just harder to pull back, So.
Exactly. But it's been Christmas and stuff. We've had a lot going on. It's tough.
It is. Yeah. No,
you've got Christmas movies taking up a lot of your time, and we still got to go see. I got to go see Godzilla -1, and I think we should do that like sometime next week early, and let's do one on that, because
I also want to watch. I want to watch a new Aquaman too. So
yeah, new Aquaman as well.
There's
the Iron Claw. The Iron Claw. Have you not seen that one? Come on, dude. It's a wrestling movie.
Oh yeah, never mind. I have. Yeah. I did see I did see the trailer. Yeah, for that.
Yeah, it's got a Darren Aronofsky style to it, like The Wrestler and that sort of thing. So I'm sure it's going to be tragic.
Oh yeah. It wouldn't be a wrestling movie if it wasn't. So
no, exactly.
All right, my number 2 Oh,
Well,
go
hang
ahead.
on. I'm gonna give my number one here because because it's Ocean's 11, and we've already
Oh,
exalted all that talk on Ocean's 11. But just again, that was another movie that was ours, and it was very special. The cast fantastic, and I don't think typically a trilogy they go downhill really fast. All those sequels were really good. Even Ocean's 8, I really liked Ocean's 8. So
that's actually the
just
one I haven't seen yet.
oh
I haven't
oh
seen
wow
Ocean's
that
8 yet.
yeah well you should. It's pretty good. It's really good.
I'd like to go back and just watch them all. I mean, that'd be
Yeah.
a fun thing to go do anyway. So,
Yeah, I would as well. But right now I'm in the middle of watching all of the Star Wars movies. I'm going to watch them in chronological
ah,
order. I'm about halfway through season 1 of the Clone Wars.
oh, you're
The
even
animated.
doing like, wow,
I want to
you're
do
going
all
all
of it,
out.
man. I want to go all
Wow,
out. I want to get them all. So yeah,
I like
just
that.
that's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah,
Anyway,
that'll
what's
take
your
some
number two?
time.
It will for
My
sure.
number two, I'm going to start out by asking you a question.
Okay,
You like Dags?
what's that? Oh, you like
You like
Dags?
Dags?
Man, I don't know why. Uh, I don't know why I don't love this movie. I mean,
Ah,
it's Brad Pitt. It's Brad Pitt, and I love Brad Pitt. Like everything he does to me is just fantastic. Uh,
so
but
so for those
I
that didn't catch on to to that question,
yeah
that is the movie Snatch, and that's a
yeah
Guy
Snatch.
Ritchie film, and that is
I
that
like
honestly, Chad, that's like one of my like all time favorite movies.
yeah. I don't think that I know it is, and I know you love it. You've banged that drum as long as I can remember. Uh, I don't even think it's Guy Ritchie's best. Like like I prefer like Smoking Aces or Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. Like I like those better. I'm sure I'm missing some other, but I I don't know why I don't love that movie. Uh, I don't. I don't know. And it's not that I think it's because like I have a horrible time with accents. It is
Yeah.
I watch a lot of subtitles.
Well,
If
and
anybody
that's about some of the hardest to understand, especially
correct.
Brad Pitt's accent there is pretty tough.
Yeah, and I've watched it. I've watched it so many times trying to see what I'm missing, and it escapes me, man. But anyway,
Yeah.
why do you love it? Why do you love it?
I just think like it's just you get a little bit of everything in this movie. I mean, it has some of the greatest fight scenes with Brad Pitt bare knuckle boxing and just having an absolute ball doing it. I mean, it's just so much fun where you see like you of course got what is it, Brick, the gangster who feeds everybody to the pigs, who always sets up all these fights, right? And then in the background, everybody's trying to get their hands on this giant diamond that keeps passing from Freddy Four Fingers, right? That's Benicio del Toro again
Yep, yep.
in that role, and just so many fun characters, such a great storyline. It bounces back and forth a little bit. You got Jason Statham. I mean, he plays just
Yeah.
a fantastic role in this.
Is
Uh, who's the big dude?
that's what I'm saying. Is Bullet Tooth Tony in this one? He plays Vinny,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
he's played by Vinny Jones. I think Vinny Jones.
yeah.
I think
He's
it's
in
Vinny
like
Jones. Yeah.
Gone in 60 Seconds
Yeah.
and
Exactly. Yeah. He
whatnot.
plays.
Yeah, and he
Yeah.
has one of the best scenes in there when the two guys are there with their replica guns, and he's like, "Well, see, yours says replica down the side." And and it's like zooms in and it like stamps out the word replica on the side of their gun. And then he sets his up and he goes, "Mine says Desert Eagle .50." Or or 50 cal or whatever it is, and it zooms into this like hand cannon, and
Yeah.
it's just such a, like I said, just such a fun movie. And then ultimately, you know Brad Pitt throws the fight in the other direction, and you just get to see kind of the downfall of the bad guys, and then ultimately the diamond ends up where it would have ended up at the very beginning, right? Which is just hilarious. I don't know. I
Yeah.
just love all the back and forth, and the guy that flies from New York over to London. You always see the flights back and forth, and it's just, I don't know. To me, it's just such an enjoyable movie. And then you got the dog with the squeaky toy in it, and it just makes me laugh. Yeah, it's just one of my favorite movies,
I
man.
know that the comedy is a big part of that one. Like it's got a lot of like I don't know if it's dry humor. It's not dry humor. It's more of like a dark humor, I guess, to it. That
Yeah.
there's a lot of that. So I get it. I get it. But
Now,
you
one
know,
could argue, is Snatch a heist movie? Because that may end up in in similar boats to some of these other movies, but they are trying to steal this diamond, right? And they're trying
yeah,
to put plans around to do it. But there is a lot of impromptu stuff that ends up happening. So we could have the same argument with Snatch that we probably had over No Country for Old Men. So
yep. And your number one. Let's talk about the
my
Pen.
number one is again one of the greatest movies that I could go watch, and this has another amazing cast to it, and this is going to be Ben Affleck and Jeremy Renner in The Town.
Yeah. Honestly, it's another one that like I probably didn't rank my. I mean, it's got an honorable mention on mine. I probably should have ranked it higher. I just didn't. I don't know. It doesn't have that special place in my heart like these other ones do. But it's probably a superior movie to just about all of them. Uh, Overall movie, I would say it's probably actually better cinematically than everything else except for Baby Driver, in my opinion. But it's just not my favorite. It just but it's still an awesome movie. Love that movie. Great movie. Jeremy
It,
Renner. This is truly the role for Jeremy Renner. That is what he is meant to play. That
well,
role right there.
if you look at Hell or High Water, the dynamic between Chris Pine and Ben
Ben Foster.
Ben Foster, there you go, is the same kind of dynamic as Ben Affleck and Jeremy Renner in this movie, right? You got the one
For
guy
sure.
that's just completely unhinged, and it's cool because, of course, Ben Affleck's trying to get out, right? That's the whole goal is to hit this one last score and
Yeah.
and get the heck out of there, right? And it's just the things that happen in that movie, and just some of the lines. I mean, the line that you see all over the internet is Ben Affleck going to Jeremy Renner and like, "I need your help. We're gonna hurt some people. You can't ask questions. Are you in?" Right? And it's
Yeah.
just holy cow, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's just such a cool interaction between those guys. But that to me is just one of my like I said, it's one of my favorite movies. But that would be that's at the top of my heist list. So
Yeah. That's the one where they go where they're at the bar and they have that little duel about the books and stuff like that. And afterwards he's like, I got a number. How about them apples? That's that one, right?
no, no, that's not. That
I don't I
also that
yeah,
also is an incredible movie.
it is a great movie. It is a great movie. I was gonna either go with that one or that boy's wicked smart, but I couldn't think of a Ben Affleck quote from that movie. I could just think of the ones from Matt Damon and Casey Affleck. So, but no, I feel like the reason I was saying that is because when you're talking about this, it's in Ben Affleck's hometown, right? So like that's kind of
Yeah,
part of the luster of it is like these guys live there. So you've got that type of I
yeah,
don't
the
know. They've got that
Boston
kind of
guys.
yeah, exactly, and I feel like
Yeah.
that kind of helps. There's something, you know, something about that.
Well, it's
That
incredibly like believable, right? I mean, just the whole story. I don't know, and there's just like again from a heist perspective, I would also go just like the final the final scene or the final heist, right? Of taking Fenway Park, right? Is
yeah,
just awesome. I love the change of clothes, the whole thought process ahead of time of just being able to plan that whole event out, even though it goes awry at the end. But that I don't know, it was just absolutely incredible.
yeah, I agree.
All right,
So I
let's
guess
hit some honorable mentions here.
let's talk about the elephant in the room that we never talked about. The
Heat.
yeah, you want to talk about a movie that's got a star-studded cast: Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Val Kilmer, John Voight, and it's directed by Michael Mann. Like that movie has the best heist scene in any movie, right? That shootout
He
with Val Kilmer and like I don't know that the actual heist is probably better than any of these other movies as far as
it
action goes.
it is it's probably like the actual true heist movie, right? Like, I
Yeah,
mean, And you named it, like all the reasons it should be on the top of everybody's heist movie list.
Yep.
I left it out because it's on the top of everybody's heist movie list, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And for me, Heat, I've seen it a number of times. It's been a while since I've seen it here lately, but it's just one of those where it's an amazing work of art. I do think, however, it gets long and drawn out in the middle of that movie, and it's one of those like where I could probably fast forward through a little bit of it to get to some of the more exciting aspects of it.
I would
The
agree with
thing
that.
that always reminds me of Heat is back in the day when everybody was setting up their surround sound systems. And I'm talking
Yeah.
like, you remember like back in the day, like everybody's getting like, of course, like the wicked awesome surround sounds, you know,
Yeah.
big speakers, everything else.
Yeah.
Uh everybody I knew would always fire up Heat. You would go to that shootout scene and just turn your speakers up as loud as they can go, and you're hearing bullets whizzing by your ears. You're
Yeah.
hearing everything that's taking place in that movie, and it is one of the best sounding movies from that aspect. I would have loved to have watched that into a movie theater back in the day, because that would have just had to have rocked the movie theater.
Yeah, what do you think if we had came out, or not if we had came out, if we had watched this movie in the theaters, what year was it?
I'd be
1995.
95 too,
Yeah.
right?
95. If we had gone to the movie theater, 12-year-old us, and watched this movie in 1995, well, I mean, we'd have to be older to watch it to fully grasp it, but like if we had seen it in them, do you think it would be higher on our list? Because I do. I think that if
Yeah,
we had
no,
seen
I,
it
I
when we were
absolutely do.
18 years
I
old or
think,
something.
yeah, I don't think at 12 years old I probably would have been asleep in the
Yeah.
middle of that movie. So,
Yeah.
but and you know, you're just not as excited as a 12-year-old. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, just the effects alone, and that generation of actors as well is just, I mean, you just named off all the heavy hitters, but by the time we got, you know, big into our movie aspects, those were the old guys in the movies at that point in time, you know. I
Yeah.
mean, so I think that's why, like, when you start looking at like Ocean's 11, for us, like that was way more exciting, because those are the big movie stars of that day, right? Of
Yeah.
of our
Yeah.
time. You couldn't get any bigger than George Clooney and Brad Pitt and Matt Damon, you know. I mean, actually Matt
Yeah.
Damon probably was barely on the big
Yeah. He's probably
A-lister
probably a
list
young guy
yet.
at that time.
So, but
Yeah.
yeah, Heat should be on the list, and I understand it's going to be on 95% of heist movie list, and it's just not one of my go-to movies, and I would
Yeah.
rather watch my top five over going and watching Heat. So
Yeah. And I think that for me, part of it is, I don't know if it's my love for Val Kilmer, or just I feel like he stole the show in that one. And I know that that's probably not a popular take, but I feel like I would have liked to have more Val Kilmer screen time on that one, and I probably would have liked it more, just because I think he was the coolest character, but he's also one of my favorite actors of all time. So,
yeah,
uh,
no, I see it. Well, hey,
yeah,
let's jump into our honorable mentions. But before we do, I ask everybody out there still listening, go ahead and drop us a comment wherever you're listening to this at. Drop us a comment. Let us know what your top five movies are. Are they top five heist movies? Are you agreeing with us? What other ones did we miss out? And we may get to a few of them here on the honorable mentions. But let us know what your top five is in the comment section here.
I've got about four honorable mentions here that we haven't really hit on.
Okay.
I don't know how many you have, but one of the ones that I have is, huh?
I have three because we've hit
Oh,
all the other ones. So
yeah. Okay. I've got four, and I think that one of them just encompasses everything, or encompasses a bunch of movies, and that's Mission Impossible, because they're
yeah,
constantly stealing something. And those movies, you want to talk about getting better. I think the first one was great. The second one dropped off significantly. I don't. That was
the
the
third
Limp
one back
Bizkit.
up.
The Limp Bizkit one was like the second one, where it was just kind of odd. But then the third one took it to a new level, and then they just kept going up from there. And now all
The
these,
third
this
one
is one of
has
the
one of
most,
your favorite scenes in it.
Yeah, then number 3. I'm gonna if you got a
Philip
wife.
Seymour Hoffman. I think we've talked
Yeah,
about that on this
I think
podcast.
that
So.
if the Oscar, if the Academy gave any care to movies like action movies like this, he would have got an Oscar for that role, because that scene, that if you got a wife, a girlfriend, something, because I'm gonna find her and I'm gonna hurt her, and it's just like, it's awesome. I love. He's so bone chilling in that one, and that's the same guy that's doing Raindrops. So
And,
I think Long King Polly or whatever. So it's like
yeah,
the
Long Came
range,
Polly, yeah.
yeah, that
Raindrop.
we lost from a guy like Philip Seymour Hoffman. Pour one out for Philip Seymour Hoffman, man.
Hey, I tell you what, he used to. It was funny. I don't know if you remember back in the day, but we would always rank our favorite actors, and Philip Seymour Hoffman was always on my top list of
Yeah,
somebody
absolutely.
who I thought was highly underrated for the span of characters that guy could do, and every one that he did was absolutely amazing. I
Yep,
mean,
absolutely,
everyone, and
absolutely. Yeah, even you look at Twister. You look at Twister and you look at
yeah.
Capote. Those two different roles there, Twister and Capote, and it's worlds apart. But it's one guy that I don't know. He's incredible.
Well, he had a couple too that were like in, what I would call probably like, straight to DVD or were never like big namers, but that were absolutely amazing. And I can't, man, I'm forgetting the name of the one, but where he's like a normal like bank guy during the day, yet he's embezzling a bunch of money, and then he's this high roller gambler.
Sounds like a heist
And
movie.
yeah, exactly. And it's absolutely incredible, and it's like crazy highs and like insane lows in that movie. And it's one of
Yeah,
those, like, at the end you're just sitting there like in a pile of depression, because it's like it ends the way that you probably know it's going to end at the beginning, but
yeah,
it takes you on such a roller coaster. I'm going to have to look that movie up, but it
yeah.
was,
Figure it out and send it to me, because
yeah.
I could use the new Philip Seymour Hoffman movie.
Yeah, that one I would always recommend that one. All right, my number one on my honorable mentions is going to be a Tarantino flick with Reservoir Dogs.
Yep, that's on my list too for honorable mentions. I think it's because the heist wasn't actually part of the movie that I didn't put it on there. It's probably better than a lot of these movies, but we didn't watch the heist. We just got glimpses of it, talking
Yep.
about it, and that's something that Kayla and I talk about. If they ever tell you the plan, that means that the plan is not going to work. If they're ever monologuing the plan for you, about mapping it out for you, then it's not going to work. If it just they go right into it and you don't know what the plan is, it's probably going to work.
I like that. That's probably a fair assessment right there.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, I think that again, it's got a lot of interactions in it. And that's where the movie really the movie really takes off is the interactions between everybody. Tim Roth and
It's a dialogue movie, right? I mean,
yeah,
that's what that's what you're in that movie for. I mean, technically it's a low budget film, right?
yep,
And it's one of those, like, you're watching it because of how well written the dialogue is between the
yeah,
characters, and it's just, I don't think
yeah,
anybody's going to tell you that Reservoir Dogs is a bad movie.
yeah,
To your point, they're doing the heist, but that's just kind of background noise more than anything
one
else.
of
And
one of my favorite parts of that movie, and there's obviously the big scene with Michael Madsen and the cop, or, which that everybody's going to remember that one. But and stuck in the middle with you. That's kind
yep.
of but I think that towards the end, when Tim Roth tells Harvey Keitel that he's a cop, and it's like you hear Harvey Keitel. It's like they're both dying at this point, I think, and he just kind of, it's like, cries, and like it's like I was the guy defending you here this whole time, and you double crossed me, and it's I don't know, I think it's one of those underrated moments in the film. It's a great acting job by Mike.
Oh,
Or
were
by
you talking about
Harvey
Reservoir
Keitel.
Dogs, or were you talking about Fast and the Furious, or were you talking about Point Break? Which one were you talking about there?
they're not the same. They're not the same.
I'm just saying, they're all kind of heist movies.
They are heist movies. Yeah, they are heist movies. Another heist
And
movie that
they
I
all
want.
have an undercover cop, and they all become best friends.
Yeah. Isn't so the other one that I was thinking,
somebody that loves Tarantino is about ready to jump through this TV and like smack me because of that comment right there.
Yeah. Yeah. But the other one that I was thinking of on the same line of that, and I don't know, but we were talking about the lasers and getting through to the diamond or whatever. It on Ocean's 12 or Ocean's 13, whichever one it was. It reminded me of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Heist movie. They're on their way to steal to stop the movie from being made, but then they have those gals that they pick up, or they jump in a van with,
heist the chimpanzees out, and but they're actually stealing something. I can't remember what the heck
they're stealing
diamonds.
I think
they're
stealing diamonds.
Right, yeah.
And they have the lasers. They do all the backflips and all that stuff, and the I don't know, like great movie. I made Kayla watch that recently, and I said, I'm like, you don't realize how much my dialogue I take from the movie Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back until you rewatch it. It's like, yeah, that's where I got
embarrassing. It's embarrassing how much dialogue. So
yeah, exactly. Very influential movie.
Back to the Philip Seymour Hoffman movie.
Yes.
The name is Owning Mahoney, and if you've not seen Owning Mahoney, go watch that. That is like literally one of the best best movies I could tell you. Best recommendations.
I'm in. Another heist movie.
Next one.
Inception. You're stealing a dude's mind. Christopher Nolan. I think this is a great heist movie. Again, another one. The only problem is I don't think this is even be my favorite Christopher Nolan movie. So it's or my favorite Leonardo DiCaprio movie. So it didn't make my list either. But it's also it's definitely the most inventive, right? It's the most.
I think Inception is a fantastic movie, and I mean, it definitely a heist movie. Again, I think it's got the cast, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. There you go. I throw him in any movie, and I'll probably like it. So, but yeah, I mean, it's just a great movie. You're putting a plan together. You got a great cast, and like any good heist movie, you never know what's actually going to happen. Yep. And that one kind of leaves you at the end that you just don't really know. I love the debate of, is he, did he make it out, or is he still stuck in there? Because I love that camera cutting away before you see that little top
or anything.
Yeah.
He made it. He's home. He's home. But that's my thoughts anyway.
I like it.
But yeah. Do you have any more on your list?
Yeah. So I have two more.
Okay.
So my next one this is another one that a guilty pleasure that I love watching. Okay. And another great cast. Now You See Me. I'm a sucker for maybe magic shows, and I just thought it was just a very fun, very fun storyline. And I'm going to put Now You See Me as in my honorable mentions of fun heist movies.
Yeah, well, okay, so that one, that's another incredible cast. It's got Woody Harrelson,
Jesse Eisenberg.
I'm wanting to say
Adams?
Casey Affleck. Amy Adams and
Amy Adams. Yeah.
Yep. And it's not Casey Affleck. It's somebody else's brother. But great.
It's Franco.
Oh yeah, James Franco's brother. Yeah, Franco though.
Yeah, he's
James Franco's brother.
And it has
is it James? It is James Franco. Yeah. Okay. All right.
No, it's not James Franco.
No, it's not. It's his brother. What's his brother's name?
It's his brother. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
I don't know.
Whatever his brother's name is.
Yeah. And then Alfred.
Oh yeah, Michael Caine. Yeah. I forgot about Michael Caine. Yeah. Michael Caine.
I'm gonna Google James Franco's brother.
Yeah, because this is quality entertainment here.
Hey, it's the number one thing when I typed in there. It popped up with his brother on there, Dave
is it Casey
Franco.
Franco? Because I
No,
really
it's
wanted to be
Dave.
Casey Franco.
It's Dave.
What?
Dave.
I was talking over you. One more
Dave
time.
Franco.
David Franco. Okay.
Dave Franco.
Glad we got that out of the way. Dave Franco. Okay.
But that
I would have never got that.
It has Mark Ruffalo in it as well.
Oh yeah, he's the cop. He's the cop.
And it has the voice of God in it.
Morgan Freeman.
Is in it.
Yes. Did you not know Morgan Freeman's name? Is that where we're at in this life? You
no, I always call him the voice of God. Just no, I always say that he's the voice of God.
Yeah. But no, I'm totally with you on that. You know, there's certain people that don't like magic or don't trust magic, and I think it's awesome. You know, to the point where when we were in Tampa Bay for that Bills game, a guy stole my wife's phone doing magic tricks. Straight up stole it from her, had it in his hand, and gave it to her. And he's like, "Yeah, I came up with your phone." It's like, "Whoa!" And then he did it again, but the next time it was his phone, and it just kind of. And I tipped him $20 for that because it was just such a good magic trick. You stole my wife's phone in front of me.
You know, it is crazy on those street magicians, though. Like, you can literally feel like you are watching every move that they are doing, and they still get you to look somewhere else.
Well, isn't that what the opening line of Now You See Me is? Come in close. Yeah. I want you to look hard. I want you to come in just as close because, whatever. Like, it's got a great opening monologue. Yeah, that's really cool. Honestly, that whole movie is just really good. I love everything.
Now You See Me 2 went down. That went down. But Now You See Me 1, like I said, that's a guilty pleasure of mine. I enjoy watching that. So that's going to be on my list. So
absolutely. What's the other one you
got? The other one, this is going to be like another guilty pleasure one. I just thought it was just fun. It's a recent one. Probably liked it because we were partially stuck in the pandemic, and I had there wasn't a whole lot of new movies, but Army of Thieves. It's like with the what is it?
Talking about Den of Thieves?
No, Army of Thieves isn't it Zack Snyder? Isn't he the one that did it? It's the one with the Army of the Dead. They go into the bank vault in the basement of the zombie-ridden Las Vegas.
Seriously?
Yeah,
that is a Zack Snyder. That is a
it's
Zack
a Snyder
movie.
film, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. I just was really
Army of Thieves was. I can't remember if it was a sequel or prequel. However it was done up. But the first one, I could take it or leave it. But Army of Thieves came out. It was the second one, and it had like all the intricacies of like the bank, the guy that breaks the combinations and everything, and like he had to go through like all the trials, and it kind of shows his whole story. And I don't know, there's just a lot of fun action to it that I enjoyed.
Wasn't there like a zombie tiger or something like that in there?
That was at least in the first one. And I'm kind of getting these two movies a little bit mixed up, but
okay, so there's a sequel to this movie that I watched.
Yeah, but it may be a prequel.
Okay. Well, regardless, like the one that I watched.
I can't remember how the whole storyline is set up, like which one came first. But I want to say like maybe like the second one is actually the prequel to the first one, but the first one came out first. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think said a lot of words there.
Yeah, you said a lot of words. I really didn't say anything, but
didn't say anything.
Yeah. I think that was one that we talked about this in a zombie podcast a while back, and I think my response to that movie was like, yeah, it was definitely a movie. It was definitely a movie.
Yeah. I'm just saying it's movies that are fun to watch like that. I'm not. It's probably like a 6.2 on IMDb, right? But like it was fun to watch.
Yeah, I need Zack Snyder to like do something better. This new movie that he just released. I'm not even going to watch it because it sounds like they released this version at the end of this season or the end of this year, but next year they're going to release an R-rated version that's better. So it's like, why am I going to waste my time watching this one when the next one's supposed to be what you really
because
wanted to
they
release.
made so much money with the Snyder cut that now they're going to do this stupid
Oh, he's
thing
going to
where
do it
they're
every
going to
time,
push
isn't he,
out.
Clint?
What was that?
I said he's going to do it every time now, isn't he, Clint? He's going to do it
Every
this
time.
stupid.
Yeah, it's like I think what it's going to be. You remember like when like DVDs came out, and then like I don't know, a little while later, then it was like, okay, the new thing, we're going to have the director's cut. And the
Mm-hmm.
director's cut's going to be an hour longer, right? Or something, a bunch
Mm-hmm.
of deleted scenes. And it's like, okay, now if you're a lover of this movie, you have to watch a director's cut. I think now we are just going to be in the world where we're going to have the Snyder cut on everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want it because I'm losing faith in Zack Snyder so quickly. So quickly. I just, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's what happens when, you start making blockbusters, and I think it just starts going downhill. So
Well, I think it's partially like you start believing your own reputation, and it's like, I'm just I don't know. I don't want to get into a bashing Zack Snyder thing, but just feel like it's been a long time since I've seen a movie hit. Well, I guess the Snyder cut, the Justice League Snyder cut was incredible, and
it was
that was
amazing.
something that
That was such a better film.
I made fun of DC fanboys for years saying that was not going to come out, and then it comes out and it's like, okay, it was awesome. Congrats, you did great.
Yeah.
So
what else? I think you got like one or two more on your list here.
No, that's it. That's all I've got. All mine. Yeah, that's all the heist movies that I have. I did want to ask real quick, out of all these movies we talked about, which one do you think is not your favorite, but is the best film out of all these?
Film or best heist film? Like best heist film out of everything?
No, yeah, everything that we just talked about. Everything, all the movies we talked about. If we considered Jay and Silent Bob, I considered a heist movie. It's in the list. Which one is the best? And there's no right answer for this. I'm just curious where you would go on this, because mine would probably be either The Town or Baby Driver, I think. And
yeah, I'm gonna have to go with The Town. I just think The Town is just such a great movie. I feel bad saying that because it's like literally at the top of my list, and I just feel like I'm just saying that because it's there. But I mean, I'm just looking down, like, yeah, I would have to put. I think that's gonna be that's it. That's why it's on the
Town. Okay,
it's number one.
I think I would probably go Baby Driver and then The Town, just because I'm gonna go against you on this a little bit.
You can't agree with me. That's like against the podcast rules here.
That's not what I do. Yeah, it's not what I'm here for.
Well, I tell you what, this has been fun though. I mean, being able to go through and do this. I think we need to do more of these lists here, Chad.
We need to do more heists.
Yeah, we need to do more heists. Let's plan a heist. I tell you what though, think of like back in the day. We just watched Public Enemy about John Dillinger with Johnny Depp, also a heist movie. But it's one of those, like, back in the day, like, you could rob a bank and get away with it, right? Like, there was actually a legitimate chance that you could get off scot-free and go live your life, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like, in today's world, like, unless you're like a Bitcoin hacker somewhere that's like stealing Bitcoin, like, to walk into a bank, you're gonna get caught. Like, there's like a 99.999% chance.
Yeah. And to that point, I know that you guys are tired of hearing about it, because it's kind of enveloped my life here lately. I'm reading Lonesome Dove, the book, and you hear Jake Spoon, who's one of the main characters, talking about, he's like, he's kind of fallen in with some outlaws here, and they're the murderous kind, and murder and horse thieves is what they are, really. Just no, and he's not that way. He's not that kind of guy. But the goal was, he thought that they were going to go rob some banks, because that's not that big of a deal. It's like, it was just so casual. Like, I just thought we're going to go rob some banks, and just we'll go steal some banks from one of these smaller towns, and you can get away with it because it's not a big deal, And he just made it so casual. But his thing is, like, horse thieving, can't do that because that's a hanging offense. In any part of the world, that's a hanging offense. And it's like, that's just, I try to think about that. Like, what was it that made robbing a bank less punishable than stealing a horse?
Stealing a horse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think that's one of those, though, like the laws weren't keeping up with society,
Yeah.
right? Like, and we see that today on different things, right? Like something new will come out and it's like there's not a law written against it. So, like, the laws are just older than what the technology is or things of
Yeah.
that nature. And I would almost attribute it to that. Or it's one of those where your everyday citizen had a horse back in the day. So, like,
Yeah.
that's, I don't know. It's a good question.
Well, I'm gonna throw a shameless plug in for Lonesome Dove because it is one of the most beautifully written and tragic and humorous and exciting books I've ever read. I just can't get enough of it. I love it. Love it. So anyway, it's not a movie, not a book podcast, but I'm
Quick question on a heist movie.
Yeah.
Would National Treasure, that series, land in Heist Movies? Because, man, I'm a sucker for those movies too.
Yeah, Point Break could have been great great one on our list. You mentioned it, but Point Break should have been on here. Yeah, National Treasure should probably be on there. They're stealing the Declaration of Independence. I don't think there's anything you can.
There was a good plan. It was a good plan, and a good cast.
Yeah, another John Voight movie. Man. Nick Cage, and so here's the thing. I was going to mention this earlier when you talked about Philip Seymour Hoffman doing like a B-rate movie, but he did a great job in it. I think that kind of likens. I love the quote by Nick Cage where he says, he's like, yeah, I've done bad movies, but he's like, I never did an intentionally bad job. Like I always gave it my best, and that's. I think people look at his bad performances or his bad movies and look at them as bad performances from him, and he may have overacted or he may have done something, but he's putting his all into it. And I'm a Nick Cage apologist.
And sometimes you can't act through a bad screenplay.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if it's just written bad and the director's making you read that line by line and there's no creativeness on that, then I'm sorry, you're going to come across as a bad actor at that point. So
it's like Justin Fields trying to run this Bears offense.
Whoo, man, shots fired.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think with that, the credits are rolling.
The lights are coming on.
That's the end of the show.